from what I've experienced, is definitely what you're learning in class is how to be a nurse in theory. So fundamentals of looking after service users and looking out for their safety, liaising with other departments of health to like basically kind of push their best interests forward as much as possible, and you're advocating for them. And your quality of practice then is based on evidence-based practice. So obviously what goes on here in the college, there's a lot of research there. So we kind of know what we're doing and why we're doing it, which is kind of unbelievably important. It gives us a bit of safety as nurses as well in what we're doing. So there's that in the college. But I think what you learn out in placement is not really textbook kind of, well, you find it in journals and textbooks, but it's really learned by doing it, just by plain listening and actually being in front of people and talking to people and things like that. I don't think you can really learn that in the college. So I think UCC had played a good card there and putting a lot of work placements in line as well. And I think all around of all of that, of all the kind of practical experience and all the kind of theory, if you combine them together, that's what the mental health program is to me, and you'll be the best nurse you can. Well, I suppose, seeing as I divided them up, the theory coming into college was very new to me. Like writing an essay was just very far away of my understanding. But now since I've been here, definitely writing an essay and getting a point across. You can nearly say argument, using kind of research that's there, clashing it up against each other and comparing them, not saying I think this and I think it should be like this because I'm a student and I'm here to learn, not to tell. But yeah, I think even just kind of getting a point together and knowing what you're talking about and kind of building it together very well, that's a serious skill that I've learned here. And I think that kind of transfers over into even just talking to people, to be clear and concise and not be kind of muddled in what you're saying and getting your thoughts right before you say them, which I think then transfers over into actually just speaking to people in general and being a nurse, which is all about speaking to people. And then again back to being out in placement. So you take that from being out in paper, structure-wise, and it kind of becomes a natural flow then when you talk to people. And that just puts people at ease because, when people are lost in conversation, things get muddled. And points can be taken wrong as well, especially with people with mental health issues. They won't always pick up what you want them to pick up. So I think it's very important to kind of just be clear and concise. And I think being in college here has definitely taught me to do that. So I think my proudest achievement I think it's pretty basic really, even just coming into college and starting this program, and I think finding my feet in it. Because at the start I was kind of a bit like a headless chicken. So I think, I'm not even knowing too much about the mental health program, but gaining a bit of confidence in that and then bringing it out into placements and finally kind of like being sure of where I stand on it and growing an opinion about mental health as well, because it's all very subjective. So I think just getting a bit of a foot standing and gaining an understanding and kind of getting the ball rolling with that, it's telling and it's kind of knocking on to other things as well. But I think just confidence in the area is definitely my proudest achievement. So in first and second year, you do 12 weeks placement. In third year, you do 16. And then fourth year, you just do one little week, and then it's 36 weeks then of internship from Christmas to September. So you could do, mental health is really after broadening in the last 20, 30 years. So it's not just institutions and hospitals anymore. The treatment, because of evidence-based practice, it's very much pulled away from medication. Even though medication is still a big part of it and it still does its job, it's very much community-based now, and kind of people. It's a lot about empowerment. So because of the empowerment, there's so many different areas of mental health and different areas where mental health nurses can work. So it's just getting broader and broader, which is great because mental health you're not going to get better just staying in the one room in the one hospital. Maybe it might be like that for general if you've a broken leg or something, for instance, but you need to get out and live and gain confidence, and I think mental health is a lot about confidence as well. So there's many, many different areas. I suppose in mental health, there's one big answer that kind of jumps out there, and it can be difficult dealing with people who are probably going through the most distressing times of their lives. It can be very hard to interpret, it can be quite frightening as well at times. But I think that That's probably it. Like, there's a lot of burnout in nurses and things like that, and I think even if you drop the ball at all with self-care, there can be kind of an avalanche of things under the surface that can kind of come at you. Just because you're around and you are the person that people who are going through some really, really difficult times, they're looking at you for answers all the time. And whether you have them or not, you're always going to be there, just kind of shoulder to shoulder with them. And that obviously is very burdening if you don't kind of look at it the right way and look after yourself too. So I think, just the whole nature of the job is probably the toughest part. I think the best part of the job is definitely being with people on their journey. Like, people are going through a journey from the moment they're born to the day they die, but as I said, going through these difficult times and difficult, extremely distressing times, you see people at their absolute, for lack of a better word, their weakest. But there's an amazing strength in that as well if you can pull out of it, and it gives a whole different perspective of yourself, the world around you, and it can change people's lives, that's what we'd like to do anyway, is change people's lives. But just being shoulder to shoulder and being there for every step of that, and really kind of going through the trenches with people in that and seeing that transformation, I think that's the best part of the job, because you can't get that anywhere else. And it's really meaningful as well, to see people going through that. So I think that's empowering for even nurses and everybody. Yeah.